We're here at LaBitConf 2015 in Mexico City. I'm joined by Andreas Antonopoulos. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
So one of the main topics that you talk about is how to bring financial inclusion to the third world. And it's an absolutely novel cause, and it's a huge market, and it's very important. I personally have a stake in this. I think that I want to help Colombia. I want to help Latin America because I speak Spanish. What are some steps that people like me, people that are interested in this, can take to actually move that forward? What are maybe some business models that you are not aware of, skill sets, practical steps to get there?
I think that's difficult to answer because you can't direct this process. This process is organic, and what we're looking for really is that perfect combination of a big need for something different, for an alternative to traditional currency or payment systems, combined with the right prerequisites. So the prerequisites that I identify here are a population that is literate and numerate, a basic infrastructure for telecommunications. It doesn't have to be data. It could be as simple as text messaging, penetration of cell phones, and at the moment still English speaking. That's a big challenge because the vast majority of information on Bitcoin is still in English. And so there are some places where all of the conditions are right today, and we can start seeing some of these things happen. So one of the areas that I think I've identified as a strong place is the Philippines. I started talking about the possibility of the Philippines because very large penetration of cell phones, literate population, difficult banking, a lot of remittances from other countries, and they speak English. So you've got those conditions. Gradually over time, you'll find it easier and easier to get into other countries. But I mean, there's not much we can do to change the speed at which this happens. We just have to make Bitcoin easier to use and better for people. And the need is there. They will use it as soon as they can.
Are there any particular skill sets that you think people would be wise to invest in if they want to sort of tackle this market? It's a big market. Maybe you can talk about the numbers that are at stake.
Well, the numbers are, depending on how you look at it, the World Bank estimates 2.5 billion people are unbanked. But that's a very narrow metric because what they're doing is, first of all, they're counting the entirely unbanked. No access to banking whatsoever, and they only count the working age employable head of household. So only the male parent, usually in most countries, sometimes both parents, but they don't count the entire family. So out of that's 2.5 billion families, not 2.5 billion people. And they only count the completely unbanked, but there's levels of banking, right? You can have very basic banking where you just have a checking account. In a single currency, you can't access international transfers, you can't transfer money to other countries, you can't access international markets or other currencies. And then there's the banking I have, you know, the banking of privilege, where I could open an account tomorrow morning and be trading in yen on the Tokyo stock market, and it would take me 3 minutes online to achieve that. So if you count it from that metric, there's 1.5 billion people in the world who have power banking, international power banking like I do. And with Bitcoin, we can give that to the other 6 billion. And so that's become my driving metric, the other 6 billion. Give full international financial inclusion to everyone who doesn't have it today.
What are some companies or organizations that you would recommend looking into as far as furthering this cause?
It's not going to be companies. I think that's the really important understanding here, which is that the barriers for companies to develop things are much higher than the barriers for, say, open source projects and grassroots adoption. Because if you build a company around something like Bitcoin remittances, then the government that doesn't want that to happen, or the banks that don't want that to happen, have a company to target. And so a company in itself is a form of centralization. It provides a target. I think the real solutions are going to come from completely decentralized technology offerings. If you write open source software that does something that helps remittances, for example, or helps import-export businesses, or helps you use Bitcoin, well, then it's just software. It's available to anyone, and you can't stop that. You can't censor it. So I think companies are at a disadvantage because companies have to play by certain rules, whereas software, innovation, technology, pure technology in the form of open source has a lot more freedom. I think a lot of the solutions are going to be grassroots. They're going to be developed and integrated by the people who actually need to solve the problem because they understand the problem, not by, white man coming in and solving problems for the poor. That's never worked in history, and it won't work again.
Sounds like translation of the technology and the ideas that we have in English might be a potential entry point. I know that your book, you've had it translated into multiple different languages, and it's open source and it's free and people can access it. So maybe that's one path to take.
Just to be clear, my book was translated by volunteers, and that's really important. It's this crowdsourcing, crowd capability. And so as an announcement, this week, the volunteers working on the Spanish translation finished the translation in time for LaBitConf. And so now we have a Spanish translation of Mastering Bitcoin. It's available for free for anyone. It's open source. Not only can you read it for free, but you can use it, derive it, mash it up. It's a Creative Commons attribution share alike license, which is as open as it is. And so people can use that to build training courses, examples, different books, or whatever they want. So, I have to give a huge thanks to the volunteers who have put an enormous amount of work to do this in languages. So at the moment we have Japanese, Hungarian, German, French, and Spanish done, and there's 27 other languages in the pipeline, some moving fast, some not moving much at all, but, it's a global effort.
And where can you find that book?
So you can find the translations on Transifex, which is the translation site. And at the moment, I would guess the Spanish version is probably already as a PDF on BitTorrent. And if you BitTorrent my book, it's perfectly legal because I give the license for you to do that. In fact, thank you because you're seeding it for others.
Awesome. Hello, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If this is the kind of topics that you're interested in, the kind of people that you're interested in, then I really suggest you check out Acapulco 2016. It's the largest anarcho-capitalist conference in the world, and it's going to be jam-packed with cyberpunks, entrepreneurs, journalists, and activists, people trying to change the world through enterprise. Last year it was fantastic, and this year we have an incredible speaker list, among them Trace Mayer, Doug Casey, Roger Ver, Adam Kokesh, Dana Martin, Skinner Lane, Walter Block, and the list goes on and on. If you are on the fence about it, you can get 10% off if you use the discount code Disruptek. It only lasts till the end of 2015 though, so get it while it's hot. And, I hope to see you there. Take a week off, escape the winter, come join the warmth and the good company here in Acapulco for a few days. And if you really like it, you might want to stay. A few of us have already done that. Anyways, enjoy whatever you're doing. And before you go, check out this video right here. It is fantastic. This is the next video you need to see. All right. Thank you. Peace out. Subscribe and have a good day.